Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas Charles Soul, also known as the Soulman, and welcome to another monthly recap video. It's been a while since the last one, well it feels like it, but last month was October, and I was able to play a bit of spooky games, but there was also a couple of burnouts and some other stuff which I'll get into momentarily. But so far, let's list off the games that I've played within October. So the first one of the month was Dead Space 2008, the original Dead Space, but on Steam. Like most of the games that I play are PC, I don't have any consoles. But I did play it, and it had a lot of problems. Considering it's a console port, it happens. Like, most of them aren't very well organized or optimized is the better word to use. They aren't always the best optimized within that kind of thing. So, yeah. It it was fun. Like, to a degree, the gameplay was fun. I did enjoy it, but a lot of the technical issues that were going on with it kind of just made it feel unfun to play, so I just stopped. But yeah, the next spooky game that I had played was Look Outside. This is an indie game of an RPG maker type of game. I don't know which RPG maker in specifically, but it feels very sandboxy, I will say. But it has a lot of body horror to it, which I thought was probably one of the coolest things about the game, besides the sandboxy type of stuff with it. But yeah, I think it was fun. I think item management within that game was a bit of a problem, at least on my end, because I was playing on like the I think it was easy, I don't know. But item management in terms of like healing as well as status effects, like a lot of the things in terms of like combat items felt kind of off for me. Like, they didn't feel very, it felt more resource management than it felt combat efficient from the combat side of things. But overall, I thought it was pretty fun. Like, I thought it was enjoyable for what it was, and I would highly recommend people try it out as well, because you don't see a lot of good body horror types of games like that. So, the next one I tried, or the next game that I played after that, was something called Moltria. This is a new game that had recently come out within this month. It was also an indie game, and I played it fully. I played it fully, and it was pretty good. Like, I think a lot of the stuff that were tied with the story was a bit, but the aesthetic of it and some of the other stuff were pretty good. Like, the only things that I was missing within that game was, like, two doll eyes. I think I got everything else from, like, the mana, from the weapon, or the armor upgrades, and all the weapons. I did scrap some of the weapons from this type of systems that it had in terms of its gameplay, where you can scrap the items to get crystals and use those crystals to upgrade your other items. I think that's the one downside to it, is how those crystals are sort of managed within that kind of system. I feel like it's a bit unbalanced, and not in like, oh, you can just scrap it and get all the better upgrades. No, I think it's more just that there's a lack of strange ores. I think that's what they're called. There's a lot of there's like a lot of lack to it. So it makes it feel like you're probably going to have to look through all the different levels for these strange ores, which I kept my eyes out on. Like some things I were able to find, some I weren't. But it doesn't allow you to upgrade a whole lot. It pretty much limits you in a certain degree. So I only selected like a few weapons that I wanted to upgrade that I was able to upgrade. But the gameplay of it was pretty fun, and I enjoyed playing it fully. One of the games I actually played fully this month. But yeah, I highly recommend checking it out and trying it out if you haven't already. But after that, I had tried Grounded, and this was a pure sandbox type of game with base building, resource management, but all from the perspective of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And this, I've heard of this one before, and I think I've tried it like a little bit, but never, or from the Black Box of Doom. I tried it a little bit, but I wasn't able to get it to run. But with this new PC, I was. But the reason why I dreaded it because all the bugs and stuff like that were upscaled, and it made it feel more of a terror for me because of my fear of insects, specifically flying insects, but still a fear that triggers to a certain degree with that kind of like aesthetic. So yeah, I tried it out. The sandbox side of it is genuinely pretty fun. I do think some of the UI and some of like the science learning stuff is it's a bit weird to manage in a way, in terms of like what you were able to learn and stuff. Like for instance, no stairs. Like throughout like the first like 1 or 2 hours of the game, I was trying to make a base with like stairs and all that, but they had nothing to it. It's like stairs didn't even exist. But it was unlocked later down, but still, there are some things that felt like they were managed a bit weirdly with the sandbox element of the game. And it was a bit on that side in terms of like customability. So the combat side of it is alright, I think. I didn't really get like a good aspect of it because I was trying to avoid interacting with as many bugs as I could. Because, again, fear. But yeah, maybe it's something I'll come back to in the future. It depends on how many people would want to see it or not. But yeah. After that, I have returned to Vampire Survivors to play the new update. The 1.14 plus the Auntie DLC that they had announced as well. And that was extremely fun, but it was also extremely annoying to try and stream it because of the gameplay. It kept turning my streams on and off throughout the entirety of that day. Like it was rough. Like I was able to play it off stream and all that other stuff, and I tried to do it on like the Discord server, which apparently couldn't even play that as well. So it felt like this game was pretty unstreamable, is what it felt like. So unfortunately I couldn't stream it and all that. Despite it being one of my favorite indie games of all time, it's probably going to be very unstreamable to that degree, so apologies for that. But yeah, I do think it's still very, very, very fun. And anyone who even hasn't checked out Vampire Survivors should. It's cheaper than most fast food nowadays, and you'll get your money's worth with the amount of hours you'll put into. Believe me, I have it on mobile as well. I can probably show it on my phone as well. But yeah. The Auntie update was pretty nice. It's also a free update as well that you can get. And I think there's a lot of good stuff to it. It's mostly just 4 characters in one stage within the free DLC. But with the update, they added a lot of other new stuff, like 2 new levels. Or I think 1 more. No. Yeah, 1 level. It was the mozzarella level. Which, by the way, that song is a complete banger. I played it during the entirety of one of my other streams. Like, it's that good. I had the volume up. But yeah, I even have the DLCs in mobile as well. I'm still doing my best to get 100% on mobile as well. Right now, this is my collection number. 262 out of 397. Still a lot to unlock, but I'll get 100%, similar to PC. And I think that's one of the other downsides to it as well. God, it won't let me close it. The other downside was that I did play the beta, which included the... oh yeah, it was 2 levels, Westwood and Mozzarella. My mistake. I did play the beta, though, and it still has the same audio issue that the beta had, where if you go to an extended time with a lot of powerful weapons, the audio will just break completely, and you're just left with, like, the normal sounds of, like, the gameplay, which is, annoying. It's annoying when you're listening to such a banger of a song like Dancing Widow, so that was one of the problems with the beta. And the second was that all the achievements that you earned within the beta transferred to live. I did not like that. I genuinely did not like how the achievements from the beta got achieved onto like live. Like it completely transferred to that. So the moment that I first started, and it's from the first stream that I tried to do when I was sick or so, but it was not a good decision. Like, I feel like once live hits, you have to earn it again. Because this game is very easy to get achievements in. Anyone who says otherwise does not know how to play the game. Or rather, they don't understand just how easy it is to get these achievements and how pretty casual friendly they are. Like, it seems difficult at first glance, but as someone who's put... Let me see if I can show it. Hold on. Here. As someone who's put 300 hours, in-game hours, into this game, I can tell you these achievements are easy. They are. So, yeah, like, I don't think it's a problem that, or at least for now, that the beta achievements transferred to live. But I hope in the future when they do new updates and DLCs, that doesn't happen again. Like, I want it to be something, because it feels like once you do it on the beta and when it hits live, you feel like you don't have an excuse to go into it again because you have already achieved it in that perspective. Like, that was my only problem with that kind of like decision. So yeah, overall the DLC and the update are pretty fun. I still need to get some secret levels or secret characters within PC and in mobile, but it has given me my addiction back to Vampire Survivors again. So I will definitely be playing that off stream for a while, since it's unstreamable right now. But I highly recommend anyone checking it out. It's super fun and easy to get into, worth the money as well. And lastly, I had returned to Risk of Rain 2, which I think is going to be my new casual game to play during streams. But during the time that I came back in October, I think I managed to unlock 2 new characters. The weird lizard and the void guy. I did beat the voidling first try, which was, I think, another final boss type of character. But there was also Prime Meridian, or so, which is basically just the, fuck, I forget his name. The Providence. Yeah, the Providence. That boss fucking sucks. Like, is complete bullshit with some of its boss fight mechanics. With Prime Meridian, it is so stupid. Of the False Sun, I think it's called. But False Sun is just a stupid boss, no matter how powerful you are. But I will beat him somehow. I will beat him. But besides from that, the gameplay is pretty fun. It is very, like, crowd control heavy with some of its gameplay, which makes sense within, like, the 3D asset of it. Within the 2D games, like the original Risk of Rain and Returns, it's very easy to sort of, like, manage it because everything is, like, 2D. But with 3D, it's a lot harder to manage because you can sometimes get catched off guard off screen because the character might be behind you or something like that. But I still think it's pretty fun. Like, I do think it's pretty fun. But yeah, those were all the games that I played in October, which I think is a total of 6 games. 2 of them that I have returned, and one of them, or I guess another 2 that were new, I think. But overall, it was a lot of games. And, yeah. A pretty good amount, I'd say. Granted, with some of the burnout, some of it was probably, like, within, like, a week that I played. Which doesn't feel very good. But, whatever. Channel progression, however. For Twitch followers at this time, I have 98 followers. And I have managed to almost reach the triple digits in terms of followers, which I'm hopefully getting close soon. But now that I have monetization unlocked, which I'll get into in summary, I have 4 subscribers now. 4 Twitch subscribers, which is very nice, and I highly appreciate the subscribers, the new subscribers to the channel. Excuse me, a little burpy. But for YouTube subscribers, 13, unchanged. Twitch followers, I have 99, which is pretty much like a tie-in balance to my Twitch followers, which is weird. It's just weird. Sometimes they'll go above 100, sometimes they'll go below. Like, it's either some of, like, the art bots that keep trying to get into my follows or whatever, or something else. I don't know. I hope that both platforms deals with those bots at some point, but considering how big they are, they probably won't. But regardless, that's how many followers I currently have. And with Blue Sky, I have 7. So, yeah. Overall, in terms of progression, pretty alright. It was pretty much similar to September. The only upside is that I got 4 subscribers due to the monetization thing. But speaking of that, for the month permanently the month personal summary, it was very exhausting. This month was probably the most exhausting that I've had to deal with, mostly because I've had to work on a lot of the art and story and so much other stuff with the Imagination Void, tied in with the streams as well as stuff going on IRL with the new house. Like, it's a lot of work, and I pretty much got burned out a lot of times to the point where I didn't feel like streaming and all that other stuff, and it was just not fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy doing the art and the stories, which I do want to get done at some point, and I do enjoy streaming as well, but doing all this stuff by myself, like, I'm a one-man crew with most of this stuff. Like, I do know I have moderators for, like, streaming, but sometimes they're not always present within the streams, most cases. And sometimes they are, like, but it's just, most of the time it's just me. Like, it's just me watching myself or just handling all this stuff by myself, which can be exhausting for one man. So, for now, I'm going to keep it just tied to streaming. I will get back to the art and the story stuff at some point, 100%, but I want to focus on streaming. I want to focus on having fun with it and doing that, because that's the reason why I came back to streaming, was to have fun and make something good out of it. So, in terms of, like, the games that I will also play, because the other thing that would come up after the summary is my upcoming games and all that. I won't be playing a lot of type of suggested games and all that other stuff, because it makes it feel like I'm pushing myself to play games that I've never heard of or never felt interested in playing. Like, I want to play games that pique my interest and are fun to me. Like, there will be new games and old games that I will play at some point, but I don't want to push myself to the point where it's just not fun and just exhausts me even more with all the other stuff that I had to deal with this month. So, yeah. For November, it's pretty much just going to be Risk of Rain 2 and whatever's new. So, in that regard, I'm still optimistic for November and later by the new year for the new house, because I'll be playing Dark Souls as I promised, but I hope at the new house I'll be a lot more energetic, which I did feel like when I was over there last time. I'll be a lot more energetic, I'll be a lot more happy within that environment compared to this one, and I will do my best to try and improve everything as best as I can. But until that point, it's just going to be casually playing games that I enjoy and trying not to burn myself out. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from October. And with November now being active now, I'm also going to be doing No Shave November, so if my beard and hair starts to become more crazy by the end of the month, you'll know from this video. But yeah, I'm optimistic for November. I'm optimistic to try and beat Prime Meridian, and I'm optimistic for trying out anything new that might pique my interest. So that will be all for this recap. So, without further ado, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you to all the subscribers, to all the Twitch followers and subscribers. and to everyone else watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I will see you all tomorrow on stream. Bye-bye.